What happens when a man doesn't love you? 6 symptoms. Many girls will have such a performance in love, that is, they are exploring their men all day long, whether they really love themselves. In fact, this performance is very easy to judge. For a man who does not love you, he doesn't have you in his heart at all. They don't want to tell you what they do. They will selfishly think that as long as they are happy, as long as they have a good life, it is enough. Such a man just shows that he doesn't love you. This woman will only feel that she has to worry about gains and losses. As long as she understands this fact, she can leave this man immediately. 1. He doesn't want to communicate with you. A female friend once told me about her emotional experience. She said, in the past, we could talk nonsense from all over the world, tears of joy and saliva flying together. Now, when the two are together, he always holds his mobile phone, never want to say a word to me. When I communicated with him, his response was always those words, oh, got it. If I say a few more words, he will think that I am noisy, and his face is full of impatience. Communication is the most straightforward way of conveying emotion. A good relationship must be sublimated in your words and my words, and gradually consolidated in the exchanges that come and go. On the contrary, it declines in a relatively silent state, and gradually disintegrates in silent pain. When you love someone, there are endless things to say. I want to talk about what delicious food I ate today, what kind of beautiful scenery I saw, and when something bad happened, I want to tell you more. 2. The man doesn't want you to be with him. It shows that this man does not love you. And there is no doubt about the sincerity of those who are willing to be with you. It's getting late, but I don't want to leave you for a moment, and I don't want to leave you for a moment, but it's getting late after all. Loving someone is like this. I want to participate in every moment of yours, because I am absent from the past. I can only cherish the present. I cherish every minute of getting along, because the rest of my life is too short and my affection is too long. In a relationship, what a woman wants most is to be cared about. She clings to you and relies on you just to prove that in your heart, she is a favored existence. A man who loves you is reluctant to be separated from you for a moment. Even if a man who does not love you stays for one more second, it will be a torment for him. When a man doesn't want to spend time with you, or even rejects your dependence, it's time to re-examine your relationship. Because the person who is willing to put you aside must not love you that much. 3. Hide his whereabouts. The 3 words "where are you" should be the words that appear most frequently in the communication between the two sexes. Want to know where you are, want to know what you do, want to know all about you. Whether a man loves you or not depends on whether he is willing to confess his whereabouts. Isn't that what people love each other like? Which bridges I've crossed, which clouds I've seen, and which friends I've talked and laughed with, I'm willing to tell you all the details. Because I don't want you to panic in the random suspicion. Because I can't bear you to worry too much in fear. Report your itinerary if you like it, and don't bother to answer it if you don't care. For those who love you, reporting your whereabouts is just a matter of passing, and it will make you feel at ease, so why not do it? However, people who don't love you will keep silent about their whereabouts, because they have 2 hearts, and they can't explain it to you. If a man is unwilling to share his life trajectory with you, and he hesitates to answer when you ask him, then this man must have a ghost in his heart. 4. Won't keep promises. Loving someone is not just an emotion, it is a decision, a judgment, and a commitment. Love cannot be separated from commitment, it is the basis for determining whether a relationship can develop well. Some men, however, promise to be often much like butterflies, circling beautifully and then disappearing. Whether a man loves you or not depends not on how many sweet words he says, but on how many promises he can keep. There is a saying, if a promise is just to please, what is the difference between that and a joke? A man who loves you will do what he says and what he does. I want to give you the best of everything, but I don't want you to be disappointed and sad, because all your emotions are affected by his heart. For a man who doesn't love you, promises are just a touch of teeth. As for whether it can be fulfilled or not, as for whether you are disappointed or not, he doesn't care. If you meet such a man, you can basically be sure that he doesn't care about you. People are unpredictable, and so are feelings. If the person you love doesn't want to communicate, doesn't want you to depend on him, or even promises to hide his whereabouts like a joke, then this man must not love you. 5. Being impatient and not listening. When we first met, your coquettish would always win his loving eyes, but when he no longer loves you, this feeling will no longer be found. At this time, your coquettish becomes unreasonable, so at this time, what you hear the most is that he says you've become unreasonable recently, but it's clear that he doesn't love him anymore. When you talk, he will want to roll his eyes, or just want to deal with a few words. Silence is golden, which means that you have nothing in common. If a man really loves you, he will be willing to spend time with you, and he will enjoy all the sweetness and love with you, and when one day, you feel lonely and sad in this relationship without a trace of sweetness, it means that he is right. Your neglect and indifference also means that your love may come to an end. 6. Doesn't want to meet your friends or relatives. Sometimes a man has to be busy with other things, or he is a little afraid of seeing parents at first, so he is unwilling to meet your relatives and friends. You have to understand this, but if you keep shirking yourself from busyness, it will not make sense. If you are busy, even if it is a meal, you should be able to spare it. If he doesn't even want to see your relatives and friends, then the relationship will not last long. Every time the love progresses to a certain level, you will talk more or less about the next stage of the problem. When your relationship reaches a stable stage, you start to discuss marriage issues, and you also want to have children, but if he doesn't love him anymore, as long as you mentioned, he will definitely run away.